So whenever you try to trigger this test class, it will create a report. I just triggered the test method. Whenever you trigger the test method, it will try to generate the report, HTML report. It will be generated. TestNG HTML report that will be generated. And if you open that report, you can find an XML in the top. Okay, every time you trigger the test method, it will create one XML. We call it as TestNG XML suite. And this XML will have the class detail, which class we are trying to trigger, which method we are trying to trigger. All the details will be there. Here, if I try to give all the class name, then it will trigger all the class. This XML is something which will be auto-generated whenever you try to trigger it through the right click on the class run as TestNG. If you do, automatically this XML will be generated. And with this XML only, the test method will be triggered. Now we can create our own XML. We are going to create a TestNG XML and then control the project. Instead of using this auto-generated XML, whenever you trigger it, it will right click on the class run as TestNG. It will generate that XML. We will try to create our own XML. We will try to create our own XML. To do that, you have to just right click on the class. Any class you can right click and you can go for TestNG, convert to TestNG. After converting to TestNG, you can click on finish. It will try to generate the TestNG XML, right? This is your TestNG XML. Just double click on it, you will get that XML detail. Okay, in this XML, this part is what we need to understand. There can be only one suite tag. Suite tag starts here, ends here. In between suite tag, there will be a test tag. Test tag is different. Test method is different. Test tag is different. Test method comes inside the class. Inside the class, we'll have a test method. These are all test methods. Test tag is different. In an XML, you can have a number of test tag. You can create a number of test tag like this. And each test tag I can connect with a different browser. I can do those things and all. Let me tell you. Now here, this is the XML which I created. And the previous run, you see, it created an XML automatically under the temp folder. I'll try to run this XML. I'll try to run this XML. When I trigger this XML, all the test method inside this class will be triggered. So all the test method inside this class got triggered right now. You can see here. Okay. Now, if I open the report and refresh it and see, it will use the XML which I created. This is my XML. In my XML, you can see test tag name. Suite name is suite. A tag name is test. And the report will be generated based on that. Here, test, it shows test tag. Under the test tag, how many classes you have mentioned. Okay. You can mention the regression suite or smooth suite under each test tag. And you can trigger which test tag you want by controlling the XML also. That is also possible. Right now, I'm triggering this test tag. This test tag contains lots of classes. Right now, only one class is there. Inside the class, whatever the test method available at the rate test, those things will be triggered. Right now, two test method available. Okay, those two got triggered. First understood how to trigger this XML. We can right click on the TestNG XML, run as TestNG suite. We can control this TestNG suite from command line itself. Okay. Now I'm going to include one more class here. I'm going to include one more class. Class name, I'll keep it as employee test. Employee test. And then I'll try to give the detail as orange HRM test. And then I'll try to trigger this XML. Right click on the XML, TestNG XML, run as TestNG suite. Now while triggering the suite one by one, all the classes will be triggered. Under the class tag, you'll have class details. You can also generate it. Anything is fine. You can generate it easily. Any test tag is fine. account disabled. So it will be failure, some account issues that's not allowing us to log in. So it will be failure. While running this, it will be failure. So it's not a problem in here. After the failure also, you can see it will start checking for the element after entering username, password, click on login. On failure, it will close the browser and everything will be destroyed completely and you will have the report. Let me open the report right now. You see the report, our XML got triggered. In our XML2 class included one test tag is orange HRM test, and then add employees failed because that's a credential, it's not accepting, some issue with the credential. Okay. Fine, but other two test method got passed where we are checking for the UI component. So that's how we have to create the test-ng XML and control it. Most of the time what we do is we'll control the test-ng XML with the tags. If you want to include all the class, you can include it. For example, I want to run the same class, this class, with Chrome browser, Firefox browser. How to do that? For that, you have a concept called parameterization, XML, test-ng parameterization. Two important concept in test-ng. One is data provider, the other one is parameterization. Okay. What I can do is I can create a parameter tag. I can create a parameter tag either in the suite level, or I can create a parameter tag in the test tag level. Only two level, either in this line number 4 after the suite tag or after the test tag. You cannot create inside the classes. Here I'm going to create a tag called parameter. This will be following a name value pair. I'm going to give the name as browser and value as h. If I give the value as h, I want this when I trigger this XML, when I trigger this XML, I want it should the class should use Edge browser. If I'm using Chrome browser only, I want to update it. Okay, let me do that. Now, using this parameterization, you can achieve that. You can easily use this name value pair and try to launch the browser based on the value. This XML you can edit it in the notepad itself. This XML, to edit the XML, you don't want to compile those things are not required. It's like a text file. You can edit it by opening it in the notepad and change the browser. Based on the browser I give it over here, it should launch. So after giving the parameter tag, it's a parameterization concept. Two concepts. One is data provider for providing the test data to the test method, and parameterization for sending the data. Right now I'm sending the browser name. Now this browser configuration is done under which class? We have done browser configuration, right? Under which class we have added the browser configuration? Number
base.
Yeah, so under the base package,
Package.
wrapper, I added it. Okay, here I'll be writing a simple condition here, annotation called the rate parameter. You can update it. The rate parameters, which comes from org.testng.annotation. That's an argument. The argument within curly braces, I can give the name, parameter name. Right now, the parameter name is browser. So I can give here browser. Okay. So now whenever I trigger this XML, it will take this in memory. First of all, it will load the parameter name equal to value in memory. Now, whichever the annotations want that parameter name, they can access it by just declaring this and providing the argument. Argument name can be anything. To make it clear, I'll give a different argument. This should match whatever I give it in the curly braces. That should match with the parameter name. Now browser name will be coming as h. A simple if condition will solve the problem here. So I'll quickly write an if condition. If condition, switch condition, whatever it is, it's fine. Switch also you can use switch statement. For example, okay, let me quickly write if condition and then I'll go for switch condition. If browser name dot equal, ignore case. Don't use equal to. If you use equal to, on string comparison, if you use equal to, it will compare the location first. we created an object, right? Two different objects. It will compare the location and then it will go for the text comparison. If you are using a string comparison, don't use equal to equal to. First, it will compare the object location, then it will go for the text comparison. But our duty is to compare only text. So for string comparison role, use string methods. String is a class which has a lots of non-static method. I'm going to use a method called equal ignore case. Equal ignore case. And this method, I'll keep it as a Edge. If it is Edge, I want to launch the Edge browser. Simple if condition is enough. And else if. Else if. Browser name dot equal ignore case. If it is equal ignore case, if it is Chrome, THLG. Okay, then I want to launch Chrome. Or if let me keep it as a by default, if nothing is matching, I want to launch Chrome browser. A simple if condition I've written. Now this, except this, everything can be kept okay, because these are all common code. That's the reason why we store it in WebDriver. Any object I can store it in WebDriver. In the else part, I'll give this driver equal to new Chrome driver. In order to launch the Edge browser, I have to set up the driver, WebDriver manager dot Edge driver dot setup. Automatically, the driver will be set up. Now driver equal to new Edge driver. Over here, driver equal to new Firefox driver. Okay. If you are trying to put it in a common class like Chrome driver, other things will throw error. Okay. That is the main reason why we have a common parent, okay, which is WebDriver. And one more thing is cross-browser testing, which is going to be very simple using some OOPS concept. Okay, OOPS concept of abstraction, we are able to achieve this. Inheritance concept. Okay, child object, you can store it in the parent. There is a common parent WebDriver. It's an interface. It has some set of method. Those rules only we are actually using. And rest of the code will be remaining same. So no need to alter this. If you see here, driver, I need to set WebDriver manager. Even though you set the driver, you need a browser. Right now, I don't have Firefox browser, so it is not going to trigger. Let me put a quickly install Firefox as well. Firefox browser is not it. Firefox. Right now, Edge, Firefox, and Chrome is there. Let me run it in all the browsers and show you. Okay. We don't want to update, modify the code. The logic is written. That's it. A simple if condition is enough to launch the browsers. A simple if condition. No need to do any other thing. So I have to go to the XML right now. And let me try to debug it and show you. In the XML, I'm going to add the debug as TestNG suite. You can right click on XML, debug as TestNG suite, or inside the XML file, you can do that. Now, it will try to go to the test method basically. The test method right now is, this is the test method. Now, test method will be present inside the child class. So it will collect all the annotations. There is a thread before method, after method, and test method. Now it goes into the before method. Now you see the browser name is Edge. So if it is matching with Edge, then it will enter this condition. In this if condition, we are launching the Edge browser. Now the automation will run in the Edge browser. Let me run it again. I just terminated it. Debug. I'll enter this. You can see Edge browser. Let me resume it. It will be faster. Now it will try to set up the Edge browser and launch the Edge driver and then launch the Edge browser. Now you can see the automation is triggered in the Edge browser. Again, one more Edge browser will be triggered. And in this automation will happen. Okay, right now, just by modifying the XML, we will be able to achieve the output. Two test methods, just UI component checks. So this is the operation. Now, if I go to the test.ng XML and change it as FF and then try to trigger, it will go to the else if where it's basically FF and it will try to set up the driver. First time it will try to set up the driver and then it will try to launch the Firefox browser. Okay, so you can see how simple for cross-browser testing. Our framework, what we designed is going to have the extensibility. You can easily keep on extending the feature to the framework. Understood? So all this can be controlled by using test.ng XML. Suppose you want to run the regression in all three browser. Okay, instead of modifying it one by one, you can try to create 2-3 test tag. Let me first push it to the GitHub. Parameter data from XML. Commit and push. Now, for example, if I wanted to run in Chrome and in Edge browser, I want to run parallelly. In order to do that, I can create 2 test tags. In a speed, there can be a number of test tags. This is your test tag. Okay. In one test tag, I can keep it as Edge, and in another test tag, I can keep it as CH. Okay. Now, what will happen is if I try to trigger this, one by one it will run. So if I run this, you can see here 2 test tag will be running. Only thing what you have to maintain is this particular name, test tag name should be unique. If you give a common name like this, you can see immediately it will throw it saying that 2 test tags should have a different name. It cannot have same name. So I'll just give login UI Edge and this one I'll keep it as login UI Chrome. Chrome is not configured. Anyway, it will go to the else part. Okay, one by one it will run right now. Let me close it. We close it and then it will go for the next test tag where it will launch the Chrome. I'll just close it. Okay, you can see all browsers got triggered. Now both the test tag I need to run parallelly. If you see the test.ng XML, you will have our XML which I created right now. Okay. Now all the details all skipped because I closed the browser. One is failed. I just closed the browser, remaining are skipped. Okay. Now this is the hierarchy for each and every thing. First time it runs with H, second time it runs with CH. After that, I skipped it. Now you can see here, I want to run both the test tag parallelly. Both the test tag parallelly. In that case, you can do parallel equal to test. Use parallel equal to test, and you can trigger the test in checksum. Now both the test tag will be running parallel. Both test tag will be running parallelly. So one will be running in Edge, one will be running in Chrome. One test tag will be running in Chrome, one test tag will be running in Edge browser. Okay, you can see the total execution, but when you come to parallel execution, will be running in different machines, not always in same machines. But even that is also going to be supported in our framework. Okay, both the test tag triggered parallelly. Understood? Clear with this? Fine. So now let me remove the test tag. I'll keep one test tag. The rest of the things I'll remove it, or I'll make a copy and for your reference. You can have n number of test tag. Okay. Whichever the test tag, like XML, you can create a number of text XML. Whichever the XML you want to trigger, you can trigger. I'll just keep XML one. Simple thing. The parameter can be given in two places. One is the test tag level, the other one is suite level. Suppose if I try to trigger the one without a parameter, you can see here, I'm going to trigger without parameter. Now, if I run the script without parameter tag, my code will throw error. If I go and check the report, configuration issue will be there. There is a argument for @before method. There is an argument, but argument is accepting a parameter tag, but no one is applying the parameter tag. You can see we are not sending the parameter tag. Now, when I trigger a XML without parameter tag, it will throw the error. When I trigger the XML without parameter tag, it will throw error right now. Okay, same error. If whenever I run, it will throw the error saying the parameter tag is missing. And if you trigger any test method also, you will get the same error. If you trigger test method, it will create auto-generate the XML. If you trigger using this, right click on class and then run as testng if you do. Run as testng if you do, it will try to auto-generate. If you try to do the XML trigger testng suite, run as testng suite, at that time, whatever the parameter you mention, it will take. If you don't mention parameter, again, it will throw error. That's what you see here. We are going to get the error when no one is passing the parameter. We will get the error. To overcome this issue, always we will not trigger through XML. Sometimes you have to trigger through class also, right? To overcome that issue, what we will do is we'll update our script. Here, we will be mentioning a tag called @optional, @optional, and here I'll be mentioning pro. If no one is passing the record, if anyone is passing Edge, use Edge. If no one is passing the value, then use Chrome. For example, in this XML, you see no data is passed. In this XML, I am not passing any parameter tag. During that time, it will try to use the Chrome. Suppose if I pass the parameter tag, let me close it. If I pass the parameter tag can be passed inside test tag, in the test tag, or in the suite level. Anything is fine. All the test tag will be using this parameter right now. And if I try to run this, it will use Edge right now. Okay. It's here, Edge browser. Okay. Just stopping it. The script you need to update. clear for you till this? No. Okay. So TestNG parameterization, it's the XML concept. So we can
Balaji,
yeah.
can you please explain again how to create that TestNG XML?
Yeah, just right click on the class. Any class you can TestNG class, you can right click and go to TestNG, convert to TestNG. You can try creating it right now. Just right click on the class and go to TestNG, convert to TestNG. You will get the XML. Just click on finish, it will create the XML. And inside the XML, just add this tag, parameter tag. You can add it in the test tag level so that you will have an idea. You can control multiple test tags. There can be only one sweet tag and number of test tags. You have created one test tag. You can also create two test tags. One test tag with parameter name equal to value h, name equal to value h. Just update this. This will be the tag name. I'll just ping you in the chat window. This tag run at the time it will use the name browser equal to h. This tag run at the time it will use browser equal to ch. Okay. Then in WebDriver wrapper you need to update it. Just update it one by one. This detail you need to update. Optional you add it, otherwise unwanted error will be coming into picture. And if condition, I'll ping you. Right. Just go to the GitHub link, you will have this record. That's before method itself is there. Just complete this, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Yeah. So clear with this? So let me know if your code is throwing any error. You have to import the detail properly. Test-ng details you need to import, optional. So two things we can extend in our framework. One is page object model. For reusing this find element code, we can go for page object model. And in page object model also, you can create some keywords and you can use it. Okay, where we will be using inheritance with super keyword and all, we'll add it. But I can add it right now. That concept is something which you need to, before that you need to understand this framework structure, all these flow, then it will be easy for you to add the page object model. Okay. So is it clear for you till this? Any doubts? Let me know if you have issues with your framework. You can update it to GitHub. Working? Yeah. Is it working in your framework which you created? Okay. So if it is working, if it is throwing any error, let me know. Okay. Just a minute. So now I'll give you an idea about extend report. We can add the extend report. So we'll set up the framework properly. Then I'll go with the page object model. Page object model, we'll keep it at the end. See, the concept is going to be simple page object model. For example, if you take this valid login, invalid login, and if you take this employee test, everywhere you see we are using find element.by.id. If in case if they are changing the ID, I'm sharing the screen again, just check it. In case if they are changing the ID of these element, the locator, if it is getting changed, then if they are changing the locator, in that case, we have to sit and modify in all the location. This place where I've used in my test method, I have to replace that locator. So to overcome this issue only, we go for page object model. It's a design pattern that's totally used for a different concept, and it is also will be used for automation purpose for reducing or reusing the Selenium related codes. That is the concept here. Okay. So page object model concept. Now we'll add extend report. I'll give you an idea about extend report and I'll share the code. You can add the code in this one. By default, it's generating the TestNG report. Apart from that, you can also add the extend report to our framework. Party report. Few are paid and few are open source. We can use open source code. Latest version Java, I'll go. Here you see, they will give few classes, extend HTML reporter, report. And these are the things you can log it in the extend report. In order to get the extend report, you need to add the dependencies that we will be adding it. After adding it, you can see here, we have to create an object for these classes. Spark reporter, event reporter, email reporter, flow reporter. Few are prepaid version, few are open thing. So I'm going to use Spark reporter. I'm going to generate a simple HTML reporter here. Okay, let's do that. And for that, to create that HTML report for our code, everything we need to log. When it comes to this extend report, we need to log everything. It's a completely customized report. If you want, you can add it into the framework. It is not going to be an auto-generated one. Like TestNG, it's not an auto-generated one. We have to set up the detail one by one. Extend report detail, we have to set up one by one. A few things we will try to do it. Extend report. Before any test start. Okay, first thing what you need to do is you have to initialize the report. You have to initialize the report, which report you want, those things you need to do. That is the first step. After initializing the report, this should run at first. Before triggering any of the test method, it should run. Okay. Now, after that, one more thing which you will do at the end, at last. Okay. Save the report. Okay. So report file. So that will should run at the end. After all the test. After all the test. And this should run before the start of I'll just keep it as should run at first. Okay. Now inside this you will be adding the detail. For example, you have @before method, @before method, @before method. When this will run, @before method and @after method. This
Before
notation
the test.
Before the test method, after the test method, not test method. Before the test and after the test. That's correct. Now, here what we will do is we will log the test name. We'll log the test name. Okay, and in after method, we'll come to know whether your test is passed or failed. So you have to tell whether it is passed or failed or skipped. You need to log it. Log whether it is passed or failed. You have to log the test name. And at the after method, you have to log passed or failed or skipped. If you want to add a screenshot, you can add it. So this you need to do. In between the test method, if you want to add any log, if you want to add a log, you can add it. Add info log if required. Info log if required. So now you need to configure this. These details we will not be able to by heart and do it and all. The extend report team will give you how to initialize the report, how to save the report. They will give you. You need to do that. That should run before start of any of the test method. If I triggering this entire project, first thing what should happen is this thing should run. After completing all the code, this should run. Save the report. So for that, what you can do is you can create a method. You can create a method public void init. I'll create one method, and I'll create one more method, public void int. I'm going to create two methods. Now for this method, we have lots of annotations. We have seen only these annotation before method, after method, test method. Apart from that, you have annotations like @ before suite, @ after suite. We will not be using all the annotation. Whatever is required, those annotation, if you use it, that's enough. We have lots of annotations like @ before suite, @ after suite, and @ before test. Understand what is before test, and @ after test. We'll be see about this. @ before class, and @ after class. And @ before method already I told you. @ before method already I told you. And @ after method also already we discussed, which is going to run for test method, every test method. So this will be clear for you as of now. These things will be clear for you. The remaining thing also will be easy only. Just go to the XML. Only through XML you can understand. Suite tag, there can be only one suite tag. You cannot create two suite tag. If you write anything under before suite, it will run at the first. While starting the suite, it will run before suite. After completing all the operation, after suite will be running. This will run only once. Understood? And before test, after test is something which will trigger while triggering this, while starting this test tag, right? First time. At that time, before test will happen. After completing this first tag, test tag. For this one, before test, after test run. For this one, before test, after test run. Before class, after class runs for each and every class. Okay, class level. This is for test method level. And in this, I want to start it initially. So which one should we use? Only once, that too at the beginning. And also one at the end. So which annotation will be suitable in that case? It should run only once, in the beginning and at the end. So which one you think it should work over here? @ before suite, okay, and then @ after suite. This will run only once. This will run at the beginning and this will run at the end. So it's a TestNG concept. By using this, we'll add the extend report code inside this. Okay, we'll add the code one by one. Let me add it one by one. I'll just show you the script first of all. Just I need to pick it over here. You can see here. I need to create an object for extend report, and then I need to create an object of Spark reporter, and where I want to save the report, I can give the report path, and then attach report. I need to do first. I need to run this. This should happen in the. This should happen in the before method. Let me do one thing. Just listen. No need to do anything. I'll just go to my. Let's add it here itself. You can do it. Okay, so let me copy this. Okay, and then I'll paste it over here. I'll copy this and paste it over here. Okay. And extend.flush, I need to do it at the end. In between that, I have to create the test after log the test. Now listen here. These things will start throwing error. We have to import the detail. How do we get the detail like these classes and all? I'll write it and send you, then you can copy paste it. Just understand it. Just you have to replace the WebDriver wrapper. Right now you can see it's not giving the import option. It's already designed the code. We have to get that code. So to get the code, what you need to do is, how do you get the library detail? Ambient repository, extend reports.
Adding dependencies.
Yeah, adding the dependency, you will be getting it. The search for extend report. Let's go for latest one. Let me copy the dependency and let me comment it for the time being. Save it. I'll go to pom.xml. Already we added TestNG, Selenium, WebDriver Manager, Excel. Now we are adding the extend report. Save it. Once I save it, it will download the jar. This is the first time I'm doing, so it will download the jar. Sorry. Okay, now it's done. We'll go to this one and I'll save it. Then I'll uncomment it. Okay, now I should get the import detail. Import. Okay, import. All these import come. Now this extend I need to access it here. So what we need to do is whatever object I'm creating here, this object I need to access, this reference I need to access outside the method. This is one method, this is one method. So declaration should happen in the class level. Let me declare it here. Let me keep it as public. Static extend report extend. Just declaration object will be created, Spark reporter will be created. I'm attaching the report. I'm saving it under the task target folder, and then Spark.html flush. Now I have to create the test and flush the test. Let me do that. Remaining thing is these two code. I have to create test. I have to sit and create the test one by one. Every time in the before method, I need to do that. And after creating the test, I have to log the test. For that, I have created a logic. I'll just take the logic from the previous scenario and show you. Let me first show you. Extend.create test I need to do. Here, I need to do extend.create test. Let me do that. In before method, I'll do extend.create test. Okay. I'll do it in the beginning. Extend.create test. Okay. I'm going to give the my test underscore sample I give. In after method, what I need to do is I need to log it. Log as pass.file I need to do. Create test. You can see here it will return the extend test object. In the log, I'll do this extend dot. Status, I'll try to import the detail. Okay. Status, I'm just logging it as pass. This will return the test. Create extend.create test I need to do. This is the code I need to run. Extend.create test. Create test will return the object. Create test object extend test it will return. For after creating a test, for that test based on extend test I have declared over here. For that, I need to update the detail extend test dot. Let me do the test dot test dot, or if test is confusing, I'll keep it as extend test. Okay, that's the variable name extend test dot. This will give you an output extend test. In that extend test, I need to log it pass dot file, which is done. So let me put a breakpoint here, and breakpoint here, breakpoint here. Okay, and then I'll go to the this method. I'll try to do debug here. Now, when I do debug this code, whenever I trigger it, first before suite will be run, where it will initialize the report detail. This is the first thing which is going to run. Okay, let me put a breakpoint in before method. Let me click on resume. After initializing it, it will go to the test method. Now in test method, I'm creating a test right now. The object will be assigned to this extend test variable. We have to create the test. This is the code to create the test log we will create. And once this is done, it will go to the test method, runs everything. Now, after completing this, let me resume the test method. It will go to the after method, and after method, you can see it will be logging the report, saving it, and closing the browser. After closing the browser, it will after completing all the test method, it will go to after suite. In after suite, it will try to flush the report. If all are executable successfully, it will generate the report inside the target folder right now. And the target folder, you can see spark.html. Let me open it in the system browser. Chrome will do. You can see my first test sample, and this is the log I made. Pass. Understood what I did? See, for one test method only I triggered. Right now, whatever I trigger, it will hard code the test method name, and always it will mark it as pass. We have to write a logic to find whether the test method is pass dot fail. A simple if condition will solve the problem. How to get the current test method name? What we did in data provider to get the current test method name. We have to generate a report based on this method. No? Yeah.
Common data.
Come again. This one we did it right. This is what we
common data provider.
Yeah, so we did something like method, and this class we used to get the current method name. That's what we are going to use this. We are going to use this to get the current method name. Here you can give comma method, you can add it. Method is a class, java.lang.reflect, and here I'll be getting the method dot get name you do will be getting the current method. So right now, if I run this code, listen carefully. Let me run only one test method and show you. Now automatically method name will be generated. Current method name will be generated. Get method name. And I'll open the refresh the report. You see valid test title test. If I run the entire class, two methods are there. Everything will be logged as passed. We have to add few if condition in the after method. Then the extend report is done. Adding extend report and all, it's not a big concepts and all. Just you need to understand the framework flow. Then you can easily add the extend report. You see, I created two test methods, and those two test method is there. Always it will log it as pass because I'm hard coding it to make it as pass here. And if I go to after method, I'm just logging it as pass. A simple if method, if condition is what we will be writing. Understood the concept of extend report? It's clear for you till this? So this will be the script right now. I'll update it and send you the detail. Just listen here. If condition everything and argument I test result. There is a interface in TestNG which is called I test result. Okay. In that you will be able to get the current test method, whether it is passed or failed. You will be getting to. Only thing is extend test dot log, extend test dot fail, extend test dot log, extend test dot log, again marker helper and all comes from the one stack extended. So this if condition is what I need to write. Now based on the test method, it will try to check the result. Okay, so listen here. Result dot get status. Result dot get status in the sense it will try to give you a pass or fail, something like that. It will try to give you these numbers. Result dot this method. If you add this in after method, if you add it, I result result. It's an interface which will it will have few methods where you can get the current status. Like this after method runs after the test method, right? So what happened to the test method, whether it is passed or failed, that detail it will give you. Result dot get status. If you try to print this, it will print some number. It will give you a number if you print it. Okay. So it will give you either 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 means it's passed. Get status equal to 1 means it's passed. If it is failure, it will be 2. If it is skip, it's 3. So pass, failure, skip is what I've created. I've done it over here. So in the WebDriver wrapper, you see, if it is 1, it's passed. Okay, if it is 2, it's if it is 2, it's failed. If it is 1, it's passed. Okay, remember, it's remembering the value will be quite difficult. That's why we are using this I test result dot. It has lots of static variable. Static variable is having some values like failure equal to 2, success, just storing the integer, calling the static variable. So over here, I'm just using this concept I test result dot failure status. If the status is failure, then marking it as fail. If the status is pass, then marking it as pass. If the status is if any other status, I'm marking it as skip. Mostly it will be having pass, fail or skip. Okay. And also throwing the error if it is a failure. Okay, extend dot fail, result dot get throwable. That's the detail. Now if you see here, let me do one thing. I'll go to the login UI test. In that title, I'll give it wrong title. I'll give a wrong title here, and I'll run this login suite. I'll run it in a debug mode. If you terminate it in between, you will not get the output. Let me run it in a debug mode. It will start the browser. You can see before suite. Then it will go to the test method, before method, create the current test method, and it will go to the test method. In test method, I'm trying to validate the title. Title, I gave the wrong title. Assertion failure will happen. Now the test result will be failed. Inside this test result, result dot get status, if you see, that will be 1. That will be failure right now. So let me check it. Which test method is running right now? It ran UI component. UI component is passed. You see here, UI component is passed. So it's just marking the test method as passed. First UI component is running, and then closing the browser. And second test method is running. It will run it in the ASCII key code order. Right now you see here, it comes over here. It is a fail. It will be failure right now. It's not matching. Now you can see it will enter into the failure part. I'm logging it as I'm logging. Okay, we are logging it. Automatically, it's not logging. We are logging it as failure, status as failure. And then some message I'm giving it in red color. And also I'm just logging the failure message as well. Okay, that's it. And then closing the browser. Now, if I go and flush should happen always. Once the flush is done, you will be able to see the report inside the target folder. See here, two report, one is passed, the other one is failure. Why it is failure? This is the failure message. Understood? Got it? How to add this extend report. Now, what you need to do basically is once I update this, once I commit it, extend report, you just update the WebDriver wrapper. Rest everything will be same. You just update the WebDriver wrapper, just add the dependencies. Extend report added. So right now you have to just update it. So I added the script. This is the thing we need to update. Initialize the report, and every method you have to create the test method, log the test name, create basically you have to create log the test name, and if you want to add any info, you can add it. I'm not adding any info. At the end, you have to, after method, you have to answer whether it is passed or failed. Okay, so is it clear for you till this? Okay, fine. So I have updated the GitHub link. You can go to the GitHub link. In GitHub link, you can see the detail. You have to update the WebDriver wrapper. No need to sit and always working on the external report and all. Just understand the concept. Once you understand it, you can just add it. The rest of the things you have to sit and work, like generating TestNG XML, working with TestNG XML and all. You need to practice. External report, if you understand, right now, if there is a requirement come for changes, you should be able to change it. That's it. Okay. Initial configuration, you should be able to. So two class will be there. One is this object you need to create. Just go to the extend report page. You will come to know. This is the code. If you run this in main method, you will have the report. If you copy this and run it in main method, you will have the report. Okay. Now, instead of running all together, what we are doing is we are organizing it properly. The before suite, after suite, we are doing the build, report build, and save the report. And before method, after method, I'm creating the test method for, and after creating the test method, whether the test method is passed or failed, I'm logging it. Okay, that's the logic here. Now, after doing this, if you want to add the screenshot, okay, if you want to add the screenshot, you should be able to take the screenshot. How to take the screenshot? Already I told you, right? So we have
using screenshot class.
screenshot method will be there. We have to call that method. That method is not going to be available by using driver. So we have to store the driver into the take screenshot interface. Then you have to do a casting, and you can use ts dot like get screenshot. This will give you the screenshot. Just listen here. Already I told you how to save the file. Screenshot. Already I told you how to save the file. Hereafter, we don't want to save the file. If you add it in the report, you can check the report. I told you how to save it as a file. If you want to add it, you can add it. Now what I'm planning to do is I'll be embedding that into the report. To embed that into a report, we don't save it as a file. Here, if you see, get screenshot, output type file, and saving it as a file, actual file. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm going to take the screenshot. If you want to save it as a file, you can save it the way what I explained to you. Otherwise, you can do output type dot, you see base 64. Okay, you see something called base 64. Using this, if you save it, like it will give you some base 64 string of output. You see the output is string, base 64 string. Okay, string. It's base 64 string. Okay, so image file or video file or PDF file, if you want to compare and all, you will be converting into base64 string, and you can compare that string. If it is matching, it will be both file are same, it will have same string, otherwise it will different string. So right now I'm just getting the string. This string, what we need to do is we have to convert into byte array, and then we have to embed it into the report. Extend report is having a feature. Let me show you that feature. Extend report is having a feature to embed the screenshot. Okay, that it's already there. Let me take it. I have given it over here. Extend text dot add a screenshot UC. If you want to add a file, you can see you can do this. Add screenshot from path. You give the path. That's one way. Okay, but you should have the project to open the path. That path should be there. Suppose I want to share the report in mail and all. While sharing the report in mail and all, in the report the image should be embedded, otherwise you will not be able to share you have to share the complete path file detail also. So we use the first option. In first option, it use overload method only, add screen capture from base64 string. You have to just pass the string. That's what we got it right now. We will be passing the base64 string. Okay, you see this code. If wherever you want to take the screenshot, you can take it right now. Let me keep it. I'll take the screenshot for all the test method and save it. Okay. Let me run the test method right now. If you want to do it on failure, put it inside the if condition of failure. Or if you want it on failure and skip, just put it. Otherwise, if I keep it outside, every time it will take the screenshot and append it to the report. That's it. So lots of things are very easy right now nowadays. They have largely customized everything. Most of the things they have customized it easily. So it happens in quick time also. It will try to generate the report. Some failure. Let me check that. Yeah, title is not matching. No, so that's a failure. That's correct only. You see, it will also embed the report. Okay. On failure, it will embed the report. Understood? If you want to add a file, you can use extend report. Any file if you want to add it, extend test dot add screenshot base64 title. You can give title if you want to give the title. You can try to give comma separated title. Let me give it as a result dot get name. I'll do the title. Right now, it will take the screenshot. Let me run login test method. Login test I'm running. So all the test method will be triggered right now. Based on that, report will be generated. Yes, site is not working. That's fine. Invalid credential, and valid credential, it's a failure. Here it will embed the report. Title, you can see this invalid credential test. That's the title. If you want to give any other title, you can add it. Understood? This WebDriver wrapper, if you add it, that's enough. Report configuration and all, it's added into the WebDriver wrapper. Okay. Now this WebDriver wrapper, you can use it for any project, not only for Orange HRM. You can use it for any project. Okay. WebDriver wrapper, extend report, and screenshot. Screenshot. You can create a file and you can do that. That is also fine. Save it as a file and embed the file. You can just add the file, add screenshot from file. You can do that is one way. If you embed it, if you share this report, it will be available. So you see, it will not try to map it from the. You see, it's not going to map it from the actual local directory and all. It just embeds directly into the report. That's the advantage here. Extend report detail is updated. Only work will be on the after method. And after method, whatever you want, you can add it. Okay. That's clear for you. Tell us any doubts.
Yes, understood.
Okay, fine. Now, if you want to add any info, for example, while doing a login test, you want to add the info about whether username is entered, password is entered, or any info you want to add, you can add it. Right now, there's a in parent class, these are the variable available. Okay, driver you can access, which we were accessing it for doing the operation. Apart from that, you can access the extend test also, extend test. And this can be private. You can keep it as private, not an issue, which will be used only within the class. And this we will be keeping it as protected or public so that you can access in the child class. The least level, you can keep it as protected. Okay. So this extend test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this in the child class. In child class, I'm going to give some message here. Extend test dot log status dot info. I can add any info like username entered as that particular username. If you want to add the log, let me add it over here. Password entered as password, and click on login, log. Actual error shown is actual error. So these info I can log, and if I run this method, it will add the info also into the report. So one failure because the account is not accessible. So it's failure. Let me open the report. Invalid credential, invalid credential, invalid. You can see the info here. Okay, this is a message. Username entered, password entered, actual error is. can see the detail here. Info. Understood? Most of the things are done in the extend report. This is what you need to create it. And in the extend report, you have these things. One is this will be the test what we created, and then the failure detail. If you want to look into this, you can click on this, and dashboard report will be here. Total test method, how many passed, how many failed. Okay, totally 3 test method, 1 fail, others are passed. Okay, log event, in which method we are in adding more logs. This detail and all this successful detail. Okay, this dashboard report will also be there in this. This you can try generating it and check it. Filter will be there. Fail, if you want to filter here, you can choose fail, or if you want to filter pass, you can choose pass. Otherwise, clear. All these things will be shown. Image will be embodied here. Okay, fine. So that's it about the extend report. And it's a third-party report. If you want to get more additional details in the extend report, you have to go for any pro version. They have pro version. In pro version, you will get additional details. Okay, for you till this, any doubts? This WebDriver wrapper, you can use it for any application. This WebDriver wrapper. Okay, fine. So let me know if you have any doubts. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next step. Is it clear for you till this?
Yes.
No. So next, we will have to understand how to cut it. As I told you, in Jenkins and Git, Jenkins and all pipeline Jenkins, we will control the project using Maven. Okay, we will try to control the project using Maven. In Maven, you have lots of goals. Lots of goals. This is our TestNG is done. We will discuss the rest of the topic in TestNG later. Extend report is done. We configure the extend report. That's a totally different environment. Now we'll come back to the Maven. Extend report configure. We'll come back to the Maven. In Maven, you have lots of goals. In Maven, goals will be there. Using that, you can control the entire project. The entire project will be controlled using this pom.xml. Entire project will be controlled using this pom.xml. Okay. In pom.xml, you need to trigger the pom.xml. For example, if you are trying to set up the environment in Linux machine and you want to run it, or if you want to run it in some Windows server where you don't have Eclipse, we don't use Eclipse to trigger the project always. We don't use Eclipse to trigger the project. We use command line to trigger the project. Just try to open the command prompt and then try to give mvn space hyphen version. Take this. How to control the project, Maven project. Just check this.
I'm getting error message as
Yeah. So for for accessing, like you will be getting an error message only because we did not configure it. Okay. So let me tell you first thing. Just listen. After that, I'll explain it. For example, if you see here, I can go to the project directory. This is my project where I saved the project, Maven project. Okay, and I'll open command prompt in this directory where pom.xml is there, right? In this directory, I'll be opening the command prompt. Here, I have lots of goals. There is a goal call. The lots of goal is there in Maven. Maven is basically used for managing the build completely, starting from the scratch till the deployment. You can take care with the Maven project. Let me open this. While configuring the Git and all, we'll be running using Maven command. So basically, you should know how to run it using the Maven command. So these things and all we already added. Now you can see pom.xml, which is a project object model. Pom.xml contains information of project configuration, information of the Maven to build the project, such as dependencies, build directory, source directory, goals. You will have lots of goals or phases, Maven goals or phase. For example, if I want to generate a jar, I can just call the goal package here, MVN package. If I do, it will generate the jar for the project what I have in pom.xml directory. This is your pom.xml directory. Now, and there is a goal. In our case, we will be using the goal called clean. Clean we'll try to use. There's a goal called clean. It will clean up all the generated build. For example, my project is, this is the project. In the project, you can see target folder. Under target folder only, you will have all the files. All the build files will be there. You can see the bytecodes. All the bytecodes will be there inside this target folder. Let me do MVN clean. Just listen here. I'm going to do MVN clean. What this will do is it will clean the existing files. All the build files it will try to clean. MVN clean. You can see here. It deleted the folder, target folder itself. Okay. Now MVN clean. You can call this call in testing environment. We call this call MVN clean compile test. Okay. If I do clean and it will clean the existing file, compile, it will compile it again, generate a source code to bytecodes. Then test, it will try to trigger all the test methods. You see here, if I run this code, it will try to build everything from the scratch. Okay, those build files it will try to generate. After compiling all 6 files, you can see all 6 source files got compiled, and it will start running the test methods. Whatever the test method I have, it will start running it. Right now, it will run all the test method. It's nowhere connected with testng XML. I'm triggering the pom.xml using the Maven goal. Testng is done. Leave that topic. This is a Maven. How even if it is not a testng project, I'll be able to run with Maven. I'm running using the Maven command. I've shown you how to use testng XML. Now I'm using Maven command to run it. Above testng, Maven will be there. We should be able to control the project using Maven. Okay. Now, let it run all the file. In server machine and all, we'll run this goal only MVN clean compile test. Right now, all the test methods which I created is getting triggered. You can see 8 test cases, all are fast. Application is working fine, so everything is fast. Now in the target folder, we already added the WebDriver wrapper. WebDriver wrapper will generate the HTML report, and you see this is the report got generated. All test case got passed. Okay. Now complete suite successful, and every time it took the screenshot and imported it. Okay, that's fine. Now this is an extend report. HTML report like testng report. Where will be the testng report? Whenever we trigger this class file, or whenever trigger the testng XML, where the testng report will be generated. By default, testng reports will be generated under which folder? See, when we trigger this run as testng, right? Or when we trigger this testng XML, under which folder that emailable report generated? You can see the directory. This is my project directory. In this directory, you see, right now I updated the script. Let me inside the test output folder only. We were seeing the testng XML report. Let me open the report. So you see here, it shows old report. It shows old report. You can see invalid, valid. Now we ran using the Maven. We ran the code using Maven. We ran using the Maven. Okay, let me keep the screenshot. We ran the code using the Maven command. We run using the Maven command. When we run using the Maven command, all the details will be added into the target folder, not in the test output folder. You see, this is the old report. If I open this, it was showing old detail. Any of this is not required hereafter. This test output folder is not at all required hereafter because we don't run it using test-ng XML or test-ng. We can delete this test output folder, which is not required. But all the details will be generated under a target folder. Under target folder, you can see Surefire reports. And inside this only test-ng reports will be generated. Test-ng reports, when the project is triggered using Maven command, Maven commands, then test-ng report will be added to this directory. Just make sure the Surefire report, wherever your project is, that's fine. Inside the target folder, Surefire report, you will have the test-ng report. Let me open this. You can see here under Surefire report test-ng, I'll have all the test method, 8 test method. Okay, right now I triggered using Maven command. So Jenkins and all will add this command on. Okay, let me do one thing. Right now, when I run it, when I run this goal, if you see here, when I run this goal, it triggered all the test method, right? It triggered all the test method. I want to trigger only one class in the test-ng XML. I have given the class, only one class I have triggered, right? I want to run only this test-ng XML. Right now, when I run this goal, it triggered all my test method, all the classes, test classes got triggered. But I don't want to trigger all the test class. I want to trigger only this test-ng XML which I created. What we do is we'll create a project first of all. After creating a project, you will be creating a test-ng XML. And this test-ng XML, you will add it in the pom.xml. Here, you will add the in the pom.xml, you will inform the Maven use this test-ng XML and run it. Okay, because most of the configuration will be done through test-ng XML. If you want to trigger it test-ng XML, you can trigger it directly, or you will try to configure in the Maven and trigger it. Jenkins and all through Maven only you will be running it. Okay. Now, to configure this report, I'll tell you what you need to do. Okay. To configure the test-ng.xml file to pom.xml. Maven team gives you the detail. Let me show you the detail. Maven test-ng XML configuration. You can see here. They are asking to create a plugins. That is not related to dependencies. We have to create a plugins. Inside plugin, I have to create a plugin tag, and then I have to give this test-ng XML. It will take from the project directory. So let me copy this plugins, and then I'll give this. This is one way. I'll give this. Where I need to give, it should not be inside the dependencies. Dependencies is one tag. Above the dependencies or after dependencies, you can give either here or you can give it here. It's nowhere related with dependencies. Let me give this and remove this dot and dot. Now here, this plugin will be coming under a build tag. There will be a build tag. Build tag. Inside the build tag, we have to tell which XML should be used. Right now, test_parallel XML state. If I inform that to use parallel XML, it will use that parallel XML while triggering the Maven MVN command. When we trigger, it will use this XML. But I'm informing it to use test_ng.xml. In test_ng.xml, I'll give the value as edge Okay, and which class I have configured? Only this class I have configured, login UI test. So it should trigger that particular test method only. I've added the build. Now let me go to commit in form.xml. Added testng xml detail in form.xml. For example, if you want to trigger 3 testng xml, then you can add the sweet file. You can add 3 sweet file here. Tag me. All 3 testng XML will be triggered in that case. So I will just updated the form.xml. Now if I run, it should trigger only the testng XML. In the testng XML, only login UI test should be triggered. That class is configured. Okay, every time I'm cleaning it, so it takes time to build it again. The build detail I added. So to control testng detail, it will need some additional downloads, which will be done. Internet connectivity should be there. If there is any block, you have to get the permission to connect to the internet for the first time. Okay, once you compile it and run it, the next time and all, you don't do clean, so it will be working fine. You can see it triggered the test method in the edge, and then I triggered only login UI test. That's the only test method which is going to be triggered right. Lots of command is there. Just 3 command is enough right now. I'll just add one more goal also. MVN clean compile test. I have given the command. Apart from that, you see in the login UI test, 2 test method is there. Those got triggered. To see the extend report, it comes inside this folder, which we properly designed. So it will be added. And Surefire reports folder will be having the testng XML file, an emailable report. Understood? And this is the XML which is used. It's clear for you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I give MVN package, it's a goal. This goal will try to trigger. It will do a test, basically MVN test. It will do clean compile test and all. It will do. Once the test is done, basically it will generate a jar. You see here after successfully running it. If you give MVN package, it should successfully run the completion should happen. You see it should be running successfully. There should not be any failure. See here, building jar, and then under target folder, it will generate the jar for the current project. Inside this jar, you will have lots of packages. Right now, 4 packages, 3 packages will be there, which we have designed. Inside that packages, class files will be there, which you can access by adding this jar. Okay. So deploying the jar and all, it's going to be very simple. Anyhow, for testing, we don't deploy the jar. We just configure the project and we'll run the project. It's clear for you till this?
Yes.
Okay. To set up the Maven thing, to trigger it, in your case, you need to do few things. You have to set up the Maven thing. Installation is required. Just you need to install few things. I'll tell you what you need to install in add the Maven. Just download this one, Maven Apache PY. Under downloads, you can see the zip folder. Okay, binary zip is fine. If it is a Mac machine, then the first one, otherwise the second one. Okay, just download this, which I ping you. What is the Java version you have?
Just a second. Huh?
Yeah.
It's a 17.
Okay. Just these things you need to do, then you will be able to access the Maven command. Okay. Let me add the step. Setup of Maven. I pinged you a link. In that one, you need to download first thing. After downloading it, you know how to add the environment variable, right? Initial days we did know. So clean compile. A test is what we use.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So what we first download the zip folder. After download, just concentrate. Just try this. You will be able to get it. Just after the session you can do. Right now, if you do, it will confuse you. So listen. So what you need to do is first you need to download it. You can put this in download. I already pinged you a link. So that is Maven download you need to do. So you have to go for Maven. Just search for Maven. You will get this official site, Maven official site. Maven.apache.org. Under that, downloads will be there. In download, we are downloading this file. Okay. Binary zip. First thing. After downloading that, this is the official site. After downloading it, you will be getting a zip folder like this. You will be getting a zip folder like this. Okay, extract it. Once you extract it, you will be able to see Maven project. Maven files will be there. Okay. A few things you need to do. One is Java underscore home, Maven underscore home. You need to create environment variable. In the environment variable, a variable to download it. This file.
Yes. Yes.
Download completed.
Yes. It's completed.
Okay, then extract it. I'll tell you. See here, what you need to do is in the environment variable, you have to create two new variables. One is Maven underscore home and give the path of the Maven project, the one which we downloaded, not project, the Maven one. And then Java underscore home, you need to create one more variable, new variable, and you need to give the JDK path. 17 is also fine. And click on OK. Okay. After that, two more things you need to do. This bin folder of Maven, you need to add it to the path variable. Setup you need to do actually. Download it. If you download it, you can share me the screen. I'll complete it. Yeah. Extract it and keep it in E drive itself. So you need to extract it. Go back. Go to downloads. Right click on it. Extract all and keep it in E drive itself. Now go to E drive and go inside that Maven folder. Store. Copy the directory. Control A and copy and go to environment variable. It's Windows 11 now. Is the
Yes,
update? Okay. Okay.
it's
Yeah. Go to environment variable. Then environment variable. Create a new variable. Click on new. Maven underscore home in uppercase. Underscore home. Paste it. Yeah. Click on OK. Now check for path variable. There will be a variable name called path. Below itself you can check. Yeah. Oh, double click on it. New. Click on new. Paste it. Just paste the one. /bin. The other slash. No. Backward slash you need to do. For bin. Okay. Click on OK. Now wait. Go to C drive. Just go to C drive. Java also you need to add it. That's why. See, under bin folder, MVN will be there, so you can access it. Now go to program files, and then Java folder. JDK 17 will try to configure. Yeah, go inside JDK 17, copy the directory, go to environment variable, new variable, Java underscore home. You paste the value, click on OK. Click on OK.
yes, done.
Yeah, okay, that's it. You can click on OK. Now go to the project folder. Go inside the project. Go inside the space. Orange HR. Go inside that. Yeah, click in the address bar and type CMD.
Okay.
No, not this one. This you close it. Our project we need. This folder you close it. Click in the address bar and type CMD. Enter. Now here give MVN space hyphen version. Now you should get the version. Here you can run the command MVN space clean compile test you do. It will run the entire project. MVN space clean space compile PILE. No, compile spelling PILE space test. Run it. It should clean the target folder. If you see target folder will be deleted, and it will download all the files and it will trigger all the test method right now whatever you configure. Okay. So using this command only, we'll try to configure the Jenkins. Build failure because source option 5 is no longer supported. Use give Java space hyphen version. Go to pom.xml. Yeah, in pom.xml, I'll just give you one code. Just add that. Did you create any TestNG XML? Yeah, I just pinged your code.
Yes, created.
Okay, I just pinged your code. Copy the build detail. Add it in line number 6 here. Save the project. Now go to command prompt and run the same command after saving it. Click on OK. Run it now. Just click on up arrow mark. Run it. Right now, what TestNG XML you have given, that the TestNG XML will be triggered. If you go to pom.xml, I have given the TestNG detail.
Okay.
If you see the pom.xml under build, I've given the compilation error came because it was using some 1.5. So I just asking it to use 1.8 compilation. That is the first plugin. Second plugin, you can see I've given the TestNG XML. In the project directory, take this TestNG XML and trigger it. Second plugin. In line number 24, you can see the TestNG XML. That's the detail. Okay. Got it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other doubts?
No, I will try it once again. And
Okay. Then that's all for today's session. Then we'll connect our next class on Friday and we'll discuss page object model. On Friday, we'll complete it.
okay.
See you then.
Yeah. Good night.
Yeah. Good night.